In Mount Lebanon, 200,000 people perished during World War I, not from armed conflict, but starvation and disease.
You used to see people, dead on the streets, on the road, with bloated stomachs because of the famine and the hunger.
Lebanon, as we know it today, didn't exist before the end of the First World War. Back then, it was just Mount Lebanon, a mountainous, semi-autonomous area under the world's greatest Islamic power, the Ottoman Empire. In 1914, the Ottoman Empire covered 1.3 million square kilometers of land. By allying themselves with Germany, the Ottomans hoped to expand their empire even further. This alliance proved to be devastating for the people of Mount Lebanon. Before the war, the economy was largely driven by the production of silk. Kfar Matta was one of the largest silk reeling factories. In this room, mostly women worked the silk fibers from sunrise to sunset. The silk they produced here was shipped all the way to Europe, mainly to France. But in 1915, international trade routes were cut off as the Allies imposed sea blockades. Silk production plummeted. Incomes dried up. Hunger spread across the mountains. Soldiers, not civilians, were the priority. All resources were confiscated for the Ottoman war effort. Families became desperate.
In my researches, I come across some terrible stories of that period. One of them is the story of a father who came to see a priest. He wanted to confess that he ate his own children because of starvation. Many similar cases of cannibalism are seen in the memoirs of Jesuits.
Fate was to deal one more extraordinary blow to Mount Lebanon, the worst locust attack in a generation.
At 10 in the morning, the locusts flew and covered the sun, and when the swarms descended upon the fields, they stripped them of everything green.
Amid all the misery, there were still some who could help. Several soup kitchens opened to feed hungry mouths. Mariam Cortaz was a teacher from the village of Brumana. In 1916, she and a team of helpers began cooking for women and children. What Mariam started here at home went on to feed at least 1,500 people from Brumana and the neighboring villages every day.
And it was a joint effort by the women in the village who used to come out here and, do the cooking and whatever it took to prepare the food. Hordes of people used to come with their pots and pans, usually women, to get some food for their children. It was a very pathetic sight to see, and this is what she remembers. It wasn't a very pleasant time.
The famine of Mount Lebanon has largely been forgotten by the wider world. But here, it is still remembered as a period of immense suffering and loss.